You are now rocking with the Rockers propaganda and the Rockers round robin. What's good with it? It's your man's AK Infinity. Follow me on Twitter /X at AK Infinity _ VVS. Let's get ready to rock. The Rockers got the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. What's going down? What y'all think is going to happen, man? We're going to get into it in a little bit. But real quick, if you can't tell, this is a pre-record. So anything y'all saying in the comments, I can't see it. Just full disclosure. Yeah, it's a pre-record because my ass ain't finna watch the game live. I got too much going on. I also missed the Saturday game against the Utah Jazz. Real quick recap on that. I know a lot of people was kind of upset Rockets lost to the lowly Utah Jazz. Yeah, I get it. We supposed to be better than that. Yes, true. All that is fine. Yeah, it happens. I'll say this. The offense looked good up until like the last stretch of the fourth quarter, kind of the back-to-back. That's when the back-to-back actually got to them. But defensively, it was more like of a mismatch problem. Two things. The size of the front court for the Utah Jazz gave us fits. Like we got absolutely smashed and bent over on the glass. Absolutely. And then also, man, them backdoor cuts, man, we was getting backdoored all. It was almost like you in the jailhouse and you in there for a couple of years. You in the shower. Yeah. Every time I'm talking about every time you look away, somebody dropped the soap and it's backdoor. Boom. Like every time. It was crazy. KJ Martin was getting into it. Keontae George was having a field day. Larry Markkinen, Walker Kessler was giving our front line fits on both ends. Like, yo, it was crazy. But to me, that was more of a mismatch problem. Like, think about it. And then, man, listen, if we would play the Jazz in the playoffs, come on, man, Rockets in 4, bro. So I ain't really too upset. Jabari looked like he probably felt the most affected at that back-to-back more than anybody since he ain't used to. Since that the conditioning part of his game has probably dipped a little bit. So the second night of the back-to-back probably hit him the hardest. But our main three guns, Alpi, Amen, and Şengün did their thing for the most part. Jalen and Alpi probably could have been a little bit more efficient. Jalen wasn't too badly inefficient. He wasn't even really inefficient. Let me not even say that. Alperen Şengün was kind of seeing ghosts at the rim, which has kind of been of a theme for him. And that theme probably not going to change anytime soon starting tonight because the Milwaukee Bucks, for everything that we just said about the Utah Jazz, the Milwaukee Bucks are that in prime form. Brook Lopez, Giannis, and the new addition of Kyle Kuzma on their front line. And then they come off the bench with Bobby Portis. So, yeah, that's man, Alperen Şengün is going to be in absolute hell tonight, and so is Jalen Green trying to get to the basket because of the way that Milwaukee play defense. So Jalen and Alpi probably going to get their shots blocked a whole lot. Look for the Milwaukee Bucks to make Amen Thompson more of a scorer. That's probably something that they're going to end up doing. I can see that happening. But I have buried the lead. I have messed up the order of operations. First things first, injury report. Pat Connaughton is out for the Milwaukee Bucks. Gary Trent Jr., game time decision. He a rocket killer. I'm going to need him to not play. Giannis, game time decision. And Bobby Portis is out. So he may not, so I guess he's not going to play too much of a factor tonight. Forgot. I think he was, what was it, a broken hand? Some weird injury, but he gone for like about I think it's 6 weeks, something like that. He out for a little bit. So that's their injuries. And then for us, Dylan Brooks, game time decision. Jae'Sean Tate, game time decision. Fred VanVleet, game time decision. This is all of as this recording because, again, for anybody that's coming in a little bit late, this is a pre-recording. So whatever you saying over there in the chat, I can't see it. That don't mean stop chatting. Go ahead and chat amongst yourself. But I can't hear nothing y'all saying or see nothing y'all saying. So, yeah. So that's what it is. But real quick, let's go ahead and jump into the usual, who is scrapping. Man, I'm mad that Bobby Porter's not playing because that's an easy one. That's easy pickings for me, man. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say I'm gonna say Amen Thompson and Giannis probably gonna get into it one time. They're probably gonna get into it. I don't know if Dylan is gonna play or not since he a game time decision, but I can see Dylan probably gonna get the lion's share of the reps on Giannis, but Amen Thompson is probably gonna frustrate him a little bit more than Dylan will. Not because of the trash talk, because Amen Thompson probably can match athleticism and speed and length a little bit better than Dylan Brooks ever could dream of. So that's probably going to piss Giannis off a little bit. And then Amen Thompson is very good about defending without fouling, and Dylan Brooks is bad about defending without fouling at times. So Giannis probably going to feel like he should, get to the line a few more times when Amen Thompson is on him, and Giannis can't really do much with him. So I could probably see them probably getting into it a little bit after a couple of no calls. That's probably something that I would look forward to if I was y'all. So Amen Thompson and Giannis probably going to be the ones scrapping tonight. Now, X factors. There's going to be multiple X factors for me, for the simple fact that there's a lot of injuries and I don't really know who's going to play, and that's for both sides. So this is if healthy, the Milwaukee Bucks X factors are both going to be Pat Connaughton. And no, I ain't gonna do that. Gary Trent Jr. for sure is gonna be an X factor, because for whatever reason, that man, when he go and he see the Rockets, he just turned into prime Glenn Rice out of nowhere, and I don't understand it. I don't know what his problem is against the Rockets. I don't know if it's the city of Houston. I don't know if it's an ex-girlfriend that he got that's from Houston, and every time he see the Rockets, he like, take this BI. So I don't know, man. So that's one guy, and then another person that I'm gonna say is Kyle Kuzma, for the simple fact that I don't know who's gonna guard him, and Kyle Kuzma low key plays well against the Rockets too. So with that big front line and Kyle Kuzma being a new addition and the scouting reports kind of still being developed on how to use him, I could see him being a guy who probably gets loose from the 3-point line, probably becomes a problem if they kind of decide they want to go small and throw him at the 4 and Giannis at the 5, and they kind of play a spread out offense, 5 wides, and kind of let them bomb away. We'll see. That'll probably be a problem for the Rockets. I can anticipate that being a thing. So look for Gary Trent Jr. and Kyle Kuzma to be two guys that really become a problem and a thorn in our sides for us, for the Rockets. Now, for the Rockets on our end, it looks like I said, Dylan is a game time decision. This is going to be one of them games that if he does play, he'll come up big in a game like this. He kind of likes to play against these teams with big names on them, and Giannis is very few names bigger than him. So this will probably be a game where he can come out and probably be a little more aggressive offensively. They're probably going to end up throwing Dame on him. They try to hide Dame on defense, put him on Dylan. Then Dylan probably going to kind of get into his post-up bag, and we'll see how they'll look. Now, my other X factor is going to be Cam Whitmore. I know it's easy. To say that. I got another X factor too. But Cam Whitmore is another guy I think probably going to want to bounce back pretty well, especially if Jae'Sean Tate is not playing, as he's a game time decision. Now, Cam Whitmore had a bit of he didn't have a great game against the Utah Jazz, in a game where you would have thought he would show up. Like, that's a game that you would think, all right, second night of a back-to-back, it's a chance for, Cam Whitmore to come in against the Utah Jazz and really, make a statement and make a play for some more playing time. He didn't do that. He might get a second crack at that again tonight, and we'll see. And this is against a better team. Now, all is forgiven if he come in and he plays really well against the Milwaukee Bucks. And we'll forget about the Utah Jazz game where he didn't look too good. he looked like he regressed. Now I'm gonna say something, but no, I don't want to spark no nonsense. I'm gonna let that ride. I'm gonna probably touch that on another day. My other X factor though, Jabari. Jabari likes to play against Giannis. If y'all remember, I made a video. What was it? Last season I made a video that kind of highlighted Jabari's rookie game, his first game against Giannis when he was a rookie, and how he locked him up. Like I did it over the Locked Up soundtrack. So go on and check that out. If I remember, I'll put this down in the description box below on YouTube. If I remember, probably not, but whatever. Go on the Rockets Propaganda channel and go find it. But defensively, I think Jabari is going to come up huge because he's going to see time on a lot of guys. He's going to see time on Giannis. He's going to see time on Kuzma. He's going to see time on Brook Lopez. He's going to see time. Hell, he's going to see time on Dame. Like, he's going to see time on a lot of guys. So I think if the Rockets are smart and they use him in a helper role and use his length and his helping ability and his weak side shot blocking ability, to use him like that on defense this game, I think he'll probably be a little bit more effective unless they have him directly on Giannis. Now, if you do that, that means you got to put Dylan on Kuzma, and I think Amen will deal with what's the name, Dame. But we're gonna get to matchups in a little bit. But offensively too is where Jabari should come up huge this game as well. He didn't have a good bounce back. He didn't have a good back-to-back game against the Utah Jazz. But even though the Milwaukee Bucks are just as big, probably even a little bit bigger, I think he'll still come out and have a much better game, similar to how he played against the Timberwolves. I think the Jazz game was more of a matter of second night of a back-to-back, and he's still trying to get his conditioning up under him. But we're going to see, because he did play 38 minutes against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think that affected him against the Jazz. So we'll see how he looked at Rockets. They have a very good record on two days rest. So this is 2 days rest. If I'm not mistaken, I think we what are we, 13-2, something like that, on 2 days rest. I don't know what it is, but it's very good. It's a very good record on 2 days rest. So we'll see how that looks. Now, matchups to watch. Number one matchup I'm looking at is the Alperen Sengun versus Brook Lopez matchup. How will that look? However that matchup goes is going to tell you how the game going to go. If Alperen Sengun can have a solid game, you ain't even got to have a great game. If you can have a solid game against the frontline tandem of Brook Lopez and Giannis, but it's probably mostly going to be Brook Lopez. If you can have a solid game against Brook Lopez, I think we will be just fine. The Bucks don't really like to double team a lot. So if they don't, Alp could get off if he can find a way to neutralize the size and length of Brook Lopez. This is one of those games that I would think we would run a lot more shin hug, because they like to play a deep drop over there in Milwaukee. They like to play the deep drop. So if Brook Lopez doesn't want to see anything outside of the free throw line, I'm gonna run all kind of DHOs right at the 3-point line, especially with Jalen Green. And I'm gonna attack Brook Lopez like that. And as Giannis comes to help, Giannis and Kuzma, as they come to help, them corners should be open or the wings should be open. So again, that goes back to me saying Dylan and Jabari should have good games. If we execute properly, Dylan and Jabari should have good games. Amen Thompson might not have a very good game, just FYI. This is the type of game he's not going to be much of a factor, offensively at least. If he does, great. But we're going to need to force a lot of transition against this team, because when you play a team that is that much bigger than you, you got to play. We do have the offense. We do have the athletic advantage. So that's something that we're going to have to lean into a little bit more. So we're going to have to force turnovers. We got to be active on defense. We got to play them passing lanes. We got to build the wall against Giannis. We got to take charges. Sometimes you get offensive foul. Sometimes it'll be a blocker foul. That's all right. But you're going to have to, take one for the team when big boy coming down the paint. And another thing that the Milwaukee Bucks like to do is they like to give up 3-pointers. So if we don't hit our 3-pointers this game, it's going to be a problem. And that leads me into the keys to the game. Keys to the game is 3-point shooting is definitely going to be one of them. But the rebounding too, man, my goodness. We gotta rebound and run, man. If we can hit threes, rebound, and win the transition battle, we should be fine. Them the three keys. If I had to pick a fourth one, limiting turnovers, man. They're not a team that force a lot of turnovers themselves, but we can't make them a team that feels comfortable and on defense where we're not forcing the issue. Like, even if you play tentative, they'll get more aggressive. But if you punch them first, they'll kind of stay in their little base defense. Well, not stay in their base defense, but if you get aggressive with them and force them to do things they're not comfortable doing, like collapsing in the paint, well, not collapsing in the paint necessarily, but like doubling out on the perimeter. So that's Jalen Green going to have to grab some attention early. And then Alperen Sengun, if you can force Brook Lopez to look like a chump and make him look stupid for not signing with the Rockets, make Brook Lopez look like a chump, force them to double. If you can force them to start doubling, it's going to be Swiss cheese all night for that defense. I mean, for our offense. Like, we're going to be eating. We're going to be eating if you can force them to double, because that's not something they like to do. But yeah, those are my little keys to the game, man. Halftime and final score. I don't even know if I'm gonna do a halftime score, man, just because this is pre-recorded. Halftime. Well, let's do final score and then player of the game. Final score, man, this is probably gonna be a closer game. Ooh-wee. Let me keep it a buck, man. I'm gonna keep it a bean. 119-116 Rockets. I don't think the defense is going to be back quite yet for the Rockets. I think they still got to, figure some things out. But offensively, I think we should be fine. It's crazy how roles have reversed for the Rockets. The defense was a linchpin in all of the winning that we was doing earlier in the season. And then now it's the offense that's looking good and the defense is looking You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Final score, 119-116 Rockets. I'm probably wrong because the Rockets probably going to end up losing this game. I don't know. We're going to see. I think we have the bench advantage, especially if and that's even with Fred being hurt. We still got the bench advantage unless Dylan is hurt. If Dylan is hurt, then Tari probably going to end up starting in his place. Tari, as good as he is, he's good in the minutes that he's played. When you start playing him after 30 minutes a game, he starts to wane a little bit, and his production tends to fall off a little bit because he's a balls to the wall kind of guy. Like, he's all gas, no brakes. And guys who play to red line every night, when you over red line, what happens to your fuel efficiency? For those of you who know about cars, you can go ahead and figure out what I'm talking about. But player of the game tonight, man. I'm going to say Jalen Green because I don't think Amen Thompson is going to have the most effective game just due to his shot diet, where he likes to get his shots, and where he cannot make up for it right now since he doesn't shoot much from the outside. I wanted to say Alperen Sengun, but these big front lines historically just give him issues no matter what. I can't say Jabari quite yet. It's not going to be a game where not that he won't have a good game. I think he'll have a good game, but I don't think he's going to be like, 25 points, 12 rebounds. I don't think it's going to be nothing like that. Probably be more around 16 points, 8 rebounds this game. But Jalen is the guy who has a gear that nobody else on his team has. And in a game like this is when he's going to have to pull that out, because the Bucks, the way they play, is sort of the antithesis of how we want to play. We like to get in the paint and, get to we don't get to the free throw line a lot, but we got a bunch of guys who like to get to the rim. Amen, Cam Whitmore, obviously Alperen Sengun, and Jalen too. But out of all of these guys, Jalen is the one guy who you can get a ball to him and he can just figure something out from the perimeter, and he can get to the paint. Nobody else on the team can do what he does exactly how he does it. Nobody else. Absolutely nobody else. So if he got that extra gear in him, and I'm going to have faith in him for the night, at least for the night, to get it done, Jalen Green probably going to end up being a player of the game. I don't really like to give out stat predictions too much, but if he can give us somewhere around the ballpark of since they like to give up threes, Jalen's probably gonna be aggressive from the 3-point line. And if he hits a couple early, it's gonna be a long night. Let's say 32 points. I don't know about the assist part. Probably like 3 assists because I don't really believe that anybody else is gonna be hitting a lot, especially not from him off of his dimes. So 32 points, maybe 3 assists. I'm gonna need him to be aggressive on defense too, because they're gonna Amen Thompson is gonna have to sit down at some point, and I don't trust Dylan Brooks uh what's the name? On Dame Lillard. But Jalen should be able to hold up. He shouldn't be able to be fooled against Dame. So I'm gonna need him to pull out one of them games where it's like, okay, yeah, Jalen haters, at least for one night, shut your mouth. But that's all I got for the night for the night. Well, for right now so far, man. I'm gonna watch the game in its entirety whenever I get a chance. But as of right now, this is, like I said, it's a pre-record, and for those who have not come in, since this is a pre-record, ain't gonna be no halftime show neither. So regardless, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and you know the rest.